The Black Phone is a movie about a guy with a creepy basement and no social life who just sits there waiting for kids to show up. Coincidentally, that's also how most Twitch streamers get started. I'm Bobby Reels from the Movie Crashers, and this is How to Beat the Basement Influencer from the Black Phone with skunk-drunk Uncle Logic. The movie opens in 1978 Denver, that innocent time when every kid had a bike and a 50-50 shot at seeing adulthood. A baseball game's in full swing, and that's where we meet our main kid, Finney. One fastball away from a panic attack. He winds up, throws heat, and another kid named Bruce rockets that ball into the next postal code. Finn loses the game, and whatever slim chance he had at getting a girlfriend. But later, Bruce walks over and tells him, "Your arm is mint," which back then was basically second base for male friendship. Except the friendship doesn't last long, because soon after, Bruce accidentally pedals past a black van and disappears forever. A common metaphysical inconvenience kids faced in the 70s. Cut to Finney's home life, where silence is the only thing keeping everyone alive. Dad's training for the Olympic event drinking while parenting. Mom's gone. And Gwen, Finney's little sister, keeps having prophetic dreams. Basically, this family qualifies for both Medicaid and an A24 3 back-to-back movies deal. On their walk to school, Finn spots Bruce's face on a missing poster. Gwen takes one look and shrugs. She doesn't believe they'll find him, because in this town, hope's been outlawed and capped at 2 positive thoughts per household. Out in the school courtyard, the crowd's chanting like it's a live taping of childhood trauma. A 7th grader who looks like his stepdad owns nunchucks beats up another kid. I assume for saying Chuck Norris is not actually from Texas. Gwen says Robin's the toughest kid left since the grabber took the last kid who ran the block. Finn hates hearing that name, mostly because at the city hall meeting for naming the dude in the van, he personally voted for the Yoinker, but nobody liked the energy. Finney heads to class, where the local bullies are workshopping new ways to rearrange his fate. He tries to evade them, ducks into the bathroom, and decides to hide inside one of the stalls, like it's the last helicopter out of Saigon. But the bullies easily locate him, since humans back then could still hunt prey via magnetoreception. All because the best move to evade 70s bullies isn't to hide in a bathroom stall. It's to act like an average high schooler from today. These days, a kid like Finn wouldn't run to the bathroom. He'd just slip on noise-canceling headphones, stare into the void, and spiritually exit the chat. Try bullying someone who's buffering. Next, dress for school appropriately. A balaclava, an oversized hoodie, and a military backpack. Suddenly, the bullies are the ones crossing the street. The teacher should chill out too. Finally, if the evasion strategy didn't work and the bullies confronted you directly, just talk to them the way modern kids talk to everyone. And I'm not talking about the cute stuff, like low-key, 6'7", and on God. I mean the true undertone of Gen Z communication. Complete and utter disrespect. 70s bullies would have run home crying if Finn just spoke to them in the same tone my 13-year-old nephew used when he called me on my birthday. So, the bullies close in on Finn, but salvation arrives in the form of his pal, Karate Kid. He doesn't even need to throw a punch. He just tells the bullies he offers bulk discounts on concussions. The bullies back off immediately, proving that violence works best when it's still in the concept phase. Then, Karate Kid tells Finn that it's high time he should learn to defend himself. To which Finn should have replied, "It's time Karate Kid stopped cosplaying as Rambo's bandana adjusting manager." But he didn't. Meanwhile, Finn's little sister gets pulled out of class by 2 detectives, who clearly think they're in True Detective elementary school division. They question her about a dream she's been telling everyone. The one with black balloons and a creepy van. Real details the cops hadn't released, but the psychic girl insists it's just a coincidence, which is exactly what people say right before HBO gives them a spin-off. The next morning, Dad finds out the cops came to his work. So he channels that disappointment into his favorite hobby, bad parenting. He yells at the psychic girl for lying about her prophetic dreams, and Finn just stands there, already imagining how annoyingly often he'll tell this story to his kids as proof of how lucky they actually have it. But later that day, the same black van strikes again. Karate Kid, Finn's one-man security system, disappears. Posters go up, the town panics, and Finn realizes he's officially next in line. That night he walks home and spots a weird dude in a top hat dropping groceries from a black van, which immediately clocks as trustworthy. So Finn decides to help him, and gets scooped up with the efficiency of a level 5 ICE agent. All because the real way to avoid getting snatched isn't to fight back, it's to stop helping people altogether. Every victim in the 70s was just one let me help you with that away from getting their face featured on a milk carton. When strangers need help, do what every modern person does. Make shy eye contact, mumble, damn, that's crazy, and keep walking. But a little faster. Assume everyone's a trap. Hot chicks with flat tires, cult recruiters. Missing children, decoys. Anyone with a friendly tone, definitely hiding a chloroform handkerchief. It's not paranoia. It's how you grow to be an adult in America. And if the urge to help kicks in, take a deep breath, count to 3. And remember, compassion is just peer pressure from society. It's just like Warren Buffett once famously said, if you truly want to help someone, fully disengage from their life and ignore their pleas. You gotta let folks figure stuff out on their own, man. Anyways, Finn wakes up in a soundproof basement, which Zillow would probably list as a studio with potential for $2,400 a month, utilities not included. He's dazed, confused, and face-to-face with a guy in a mask that, I assume, was supposed to make him look like Temu's Mick Jagger. Cut to Psychic Sister, who hears her brother's missing and runs home. The cops are already there, doing their favorite thing, existing near evidence. So she turns to prayer, because when something happens to a little boy, there's a decent chance it involves religion. Back in the basement, Finn's trying to keep it together when the phone, the one that hasn't worked since disco, suddenly rings. He answered. A whisper says his name, which is what used to happen before iPhone invented writing scam likely under caller ID. The voice says he's Bruce, the kid who humiliated Finn at baseball and died. He tells Finn if he wants to escape, he has to dig through the dirt in the bathroom floor, which is kind of crazy because it's like, we're getting jailbreak advice from someone who couldn't even finish life. Meanwhile, the Psychic Sister dreams about the same kid. Black balloons, a basement, and a mysterious door. She sneaks out to find it while Finn starts digging dirt with his bare hands like he just joined the Albanian Minecraft server. While the real way to beat the grabber isn't to dig your way out, it's to make him question his entire place in the universe. Use the ghost calls to gather receipt. Ask about details Finn couldn't possibly know. What did they see before dying? What song was playing? What brand of rope? If a ghost starts questioning your curiosity or suddenly insists you stop asking and start digging, just say you've developed trust issues after getting involuntarily relocated underground and now need more verification steps before committing to any manual work. Then wait for the grabber to show up and snitch all the info you gathered to him. The broken phone is working. The ghosts are real. His masks are stupid. All of it. Watch him freeze like U.S. financial aid to a struggling third world country during a government shutdown. Now lean in. Tell him the ghosts describe their death in detail. Then explain that if ghosts exist, hell does too, and he's already on the guest list. By the time he's at the library searching fastest ways to repent, you're already home, safe with your crazy sister and alcoholic dad. The next morning, the grabber shows up with breakfast, proving even serial unalivers believe in the most important meal of the day. He forgets to lock the door, but right as Finn considers escaping, the phone rings. A ghost says, "Don't go upstairs, it's a trap," which is what every stairwell in a pre-code Denver duplex technically was. The voice belongs to Billy, the paper boy. He warns that the grabber's waiting upstairs with a belt, ready to beat Finn into a different genre. Finn climbs a few steps anyway, just to check, then locks himself back inside, which is basically character growth, if you're optimizing for cowardice. Later the phone rings again, and Billy's ghost tells Finn there's a cable hidden under the floor. Finn finds the cable, ties it to a window beam, and starts climbing, only to collapse immediately when the bars snap. The house might be haunted, but the building code's doing most of the killing. Meanwhile, the cops visit a random guy to hear his theories on where the grabber might be hiding. The theories are based entirely on sacred geometry, pure delusion, and lines of white powder powering his confidence. So basically, if this were today, he'd be doing research for Candace Owens. And back in the basement, the grabber admits he might let Finn go, because apparently he's been an exceptionally good boy. He asks Finn's name so he can remember him as the one who got away, but Finn decides to lie, which makes the guy mad. The grabber tosses Finn's breakfast and shows him the morning newspaper. Finn's real name printed right there on the bottom of the front page. The top, of course, was reserved for an op-ed on how wavy, shoulder-length hair for men is a good style choice. But anyway, Finn stays trapped inside. All because you should never lie to authority, especially if that authority's wearing a mask. When a masked stranger demands your name, answer clearly and calmly. Use sir or officer, depending on what type of mask he's wearing today. Remember, cooperation is your best chance at surviving both basement detainment and a routine screening. Next, maintain eye contact and keep your hands visible at all times. Don't reach for your ID, hidden cables, or your basic human rights. Sudden movements make authority nervous. But if he asks where you're from, don't answer. Instead, keep repeating, "I don't consent to oral testimony." Often authorities get scared when they see you know the law. If he gets angry, stay polite. Compliment his belt, say you actually support this kind of fate for most teenage boys, but assure him you're one of the good ones. Then, try appealing to his kindness. Remind him that half of this country is teenage boys, or descendants of teenage boys. After all, the goal isn't to escape. It's to make him feel so bureaucratically powerful, he forgets to murder you. So the broken phone rings again. A ghost named Griffin calls to explain that Finn's time is running out because the grabber hasn't played his game yet, which is serial unaliver code for "I need a fun reason to murder you." But Griffin says Finn could try sneaking away through the street door if he cracks the bike lock that's holding it. Apparently, the grabber preferred bike locks over regular key locks because if you're gonna snatch people off the street, might as well stay on brand throughout both hardware and interior design. Finn memorizes the code, sneaks upstairs, and finds the grabber asleep in his chair, proving even psychopaths need union breaks. He cracks the combo, gets out, and makes it to the street, where literally no one helps him. Denver, 1978, home of the original safety campaign. See something? Assume it's none of your business. Back home, psychic sister Gwen finally snaps at God for ignoring her prayers. She's not losing faith, she's just switching her plan to basic doubt with limited miracles. Meanwhile, in the basement, the phone rings again. It's Vance Hopper, the school bully now demoted to paranormal life coach. He tells Finn, "Today's your day," which sounds inspiring until you remember what this movie is about. We flash back to Vance's arcade fight, where he teaches a kid the lost art of drawing through facial indentation. And Gwen dreams it too, realizing which house her brother's in. Apparently, divine customer support just needed her to reboot the faith connection. Vance's ghost instructs Finn to break through the wall behind the freezer. Our boy smashes the wall with a toilet, but the freezer door won't budge. This house rejects freedom on principle. Eventually, Finn breaks down crying, which in fairness seems to be the most productive thing he's done all week. Because if Finn really wanted the neighbors or the cops to find him, he shouldn't have tried to escape. He should have treated that basement the same way my college roommate treated our apartment. First, find out how soundproof this basement really is. Yeah, the grabber said no one would hear you screaming. But what about rhythmically banging on the door every 10 seconds? Like you're sending Morse code while sobbing and cursing at your girlfriend on speakerphone. Trust me, even if the neighbors don't hear you, their dogs definitely will. And citing a 3 a.m. cacophony no basement can contain. Next, embrace the smell strategy. Leave food out, start fermenting milk, or microwave fish daily until the air develops political opinions. When your captor walks in, even he will start Googling how to report an odor to city council. Finally, don't use the toilet to smash the wall. Use it the same way my old roommate did for 7 straight months. Don't ever flush. Yeah, you heard me. Keep everything in. Let it calcify. Then one day, do try to flush, and boom. The whole block is replacing the pipes. Emergency services will absolutely pay you a visit, probably in hazmat suits. And that's the secret to survival. Governments may ignore missing kids, but they never ignore a backed up sewer line. Then the phone rings again, because apparently death comes with unlimited minutes. This time, it's Robin, Finn's karate mentor turned ghostly guidance counselor. He tells Finn to stop crying and start fighting, the kind of pep talk you only get from a dead friend who no longer has to worry about consequences. Finn follows orders, fills the phone with dirt, practices swinging it like a weapon, and turns the basement into a Dollar Tree Home Alone set. Meanwhile, the psychic girl is riding her bike through a thunderstorm, repenting for doubting God, who, to be fair, only seems to answer when there's no other way to advance the plot. Upstairs, the random dude who turned to be the grabber's brother develops a feeling that his crime wall wasn't just an art project. Just like my buddy who once looked at my wife and whispered, "She's gonna cheat," he realizes he might have been right all along. So he goes downstairs, finds Finn, and immediately dies, because that's how bombshell journalistic discoveries are usually rewarded. The cops follow the psychic girl's directions and rush to the wrong house, or, as the official police report called it, the right house. But while they're figuring out geography, Finn's already in the final boss fight. All because instead of embarrassing themselves with the psychics in the wrong houses, the Denver PD should have just done what every major institution does when a case becomes inconvenient. Announce publicly that everything is fine and close the folder. Step 1, go on a podcast. Sit the police chief down, hand him a microphone, and have him say, "We investigated thoroughly and found no evidence evidence that any children have ever existed. Boom! Case closed. No victims, no culprit, no work. Suddenly, the department's success rate skyrockets from 3% to 100%. Next, release a strongly worded statement about misinformation. Any missing child report becomes dangerous propaganda. Any witness becomes a traitor. Any black van becomes a privately owned vehicle whose privacy the department respects. And if any of the parents neg too much, ship them to Vietnam. Finally, publish a shiny official report explaining that the psychic girl misinterpreted a weather event. The posters were street art, and the basement full of ghosts is outside departmental jurisdiction. At that point, the grabber will release Finn and confess to everything purely out of protest against the emerging authoritarianism. Sometimes the safest city is the one where it's forbidden to report the crime. Subscribe!